All right, Aquarius, let's get into your reading. The moment I touched this thread today, a rush of warmth shot straight through my body. There is a presence hovering over these cards, and it belongs to this person with absolute certainty. I have not felt energy this intense in a long time, and it stopped me cold right here. This person is carrying something enormous for you, and it presses hard against every card here. Their emotions keep spilling over the edges of this reading, and I need you to truly feel it. Whatever distance exists between you right now, their heart has already closed that gap from within. They hold you in a private place inside themselves, where nothing else has ever been permitted to enter. What they feel for you reaches into territory where language begins to dissolve and lose all meaning. Their love outgrew the shape of words a long time ago, and silence became its only honest vessel. This person is completely in love with you, and the magnitude has outgrown every expression they know. I need you to hear how rare this is, because cards do not arrive this emotionally loaded often. The first card we have is the Lovers, and it came carrying the full gravitational weight of connection. This is not chemistry built on surface attraction. This is recognition at the deepest spiritual level possible. The Lovers confirms that your two souls identified each other long before either mind could catch up. Nothing accidental drew you together, and this card validates that truth with an intensity I rarely witness. You were always meant to collide with this person, and the universe orchestrated every silent step of it. Their energy locked onto yours like a compass finding north, and the Lovers simply confirmed the direction. What pulses between you is not a phase, it is woven into the actual fabric of fate. Following that, we see the King of Cups, and this card holds an incredibly steady emotional presence here. This person does not distribute their affection loosely. They reserved their deepest waters entirely for you. A maturity lives inside their love that only develops when the feelings underneath are genuinely sacred. Before you entered their world completely, they never understood what it meant to surrender a whole heart. You cracked open something ancient inside them, and now their devotion pours without any hesitation attached. The King of Cups does not appear for shallow connections. It arrives when commitment runs generationally deep. Their patience with you is not performance or obligation. It is the natural overflow of a transformed spirit. Then we have the Two of Wands, which tells me this person already envisions a life alongside you. They are not debating whether you fit into their tomorrow. They constructed the entire framework around you. Every ambition they carry has your silhouette woven into it, and removing you would collapse the picture. Planning without your presence feels hollow to them now, and the Two of Wands confirms that invisible thread. Our final card is the Ace of Cups, and it made this entire reading tremble with emotion. The Ace of Cups represents love arriving in its most untouched form, completely free from old wounds. What this person holds for you was never manufactured from loneliness. It was born from spiritual overflow. They carry your name in chambers of their heart that even their own conscious mind cannot fully reach. Falling asleep became a ritual for them, where your face is the last beautiful thing consciousness touches. Waking up involves reaching for the thought of you before anything else in their morning takes shape. These four cards united are screaming one truth, and it mirrors what your own intuition already sensed. This person is consumed by a love for you that no combination of syllables could ever properly contain. What lives between you two was inscribed into something permanent, and these cards stand as undeniable evidence. The depth of what they carry cannot be spoken or written. It can only be felt across distance. No part of their affection was borrowed or rehearsed. Every fragment of it grew organically from knowing you. Something shifted permanently the day they recognized you, and these cards are the written proof of that shift. Stay close through every part of this reading today, because each new layer peels back something extraordinary. I feel the energy in this reading shifting now, and it is turning completely toward you. Something in these cards wants to sit with you privately and honor what you carried alone. The heaviness on your chest lately was never imaginary, and this next section proves it entirely. You held more than you let the world witness, and your silence about it was never weakness. A question replays inside your mind on a constant loop, and it steals your sleep every night. You keep wondering whether what you feel is being matched, and that uncertainty drains you constantly. Part of you craves a definitive answer so badly, and the waiting has worn your patience dangerously thin. Your heart keeps reaching forward with hope, but your mind yanks it back with every old memory. Nobody around you fully grasps the emotional labor that lives behind that composed exterior of yours. The first card pulled is the Nine of Swords, and it captured your current inner landscape perfectly. This card mirrors the exact nature of your restless thoughts and the cycles that never fully resolve. Your mind runs scenarios on repeat nightly, and none of the conclusions you invent bring real peace. The Nine of Swords confirms that your anxiety grows from caring deeply, not from being uncertain. Mornings arrive and you already feel emotionally spent before the day has even taken proper shape. That fatigue sitting in your bones is legitimate, and these cards acknowledge it without any judgment here. You deserve recognition for surviving every anxious dawn and still showing up with your heart intact. Following that, we have the Moon, and this card illuminates the fog sitting beneath your surface. The Moon reveals you have been navigating emotional confusion, trusting instinct over logic for months now. Part of you grasps the truth with total confidence, but another part questions whether you deserve it. You trained yourself to anticipate disappointment, and that protective armor makes receiving feel almost impossible. The Moon confirms your intuition was accurate this entire time, even when fear argued much louder. What you sensed quietly in your gut was never delusion, and this card honors every suppressed feeling. You did not fabricate any of this inside your imagination, and the cards validate that with absolute certainty. Your inner knowing was never the problem here. The problem was trusting yourself enough to believe it. Then we see the Four of Cups, which addresses the guardedness you constructed carefully around your heart. Comfort was offered before, and you watched it dissolve, so hesitation became your natural response always. The Four of Cups does not fault your caution. It simply recognizes why you struggle to accept warmth. That protective season served a necessary purpose in your life, but now the cards urge you to soften. Something authentic is reaching for you in this moment, and dismissing it quickly would cost you dearly. Our closing card for this section is the Queen of Swords, reflecting fierce strength beneath everything you show. You process emotions through sharp discernment and clarity, and most people never realize how deeply you feel. The Queen of Swords reveals that your intelligence and emotions operate together as one unified force. You demand evidence before fully committing your heart, and requiring that proof is wisdom rather than fear. Your analytical nature guards something precious inside you, and it kept you honest through every emotional storm. Every restless night and unanswered question shaped you quietly into the exact version ready for this moment. Your resilience did not harden you. It refined you into a person capable of holding extraordinary love. You carried that weight with a grace nobody witnessed, and these cards finally honor your invisible exhaustion. The war between your logic and your feelings approaches resolution, and it leans heavily toward your heart. Trust what your body recognized before your thoughts caught up, because deep confirmation arrives through every part. Your emotions were never excessive or misdirected, and the cards want you to finally release that burden. The tenderness you buried for survival is ready to breathe, and these cards are giving it full permission. Everything you questioned about yourself dissolves here, and the next layer brings the clarity you craved. There is a shift happening in this reading right now, and I sense their presence arriving strongly. The cards pull me into their private world, and what I discover there is both tender and overwhelming. This person has been fighting an internal war that nobody around them even suspects is taking place. On the surface, they appear composed and grounded, but underneath that armor lives a completely different reality. Their thoughts circle back to one direction constantly, and it consumes more of them than they expected. Love was never supposed to dismantle them this thoroughly, and the depth of it caught them entirely unprepared. The first card arriving is the Emperor, and it reveals the structure built around their emotional core. They constructed those walls not from cruelty, but from a desperate need to maintain control over everything. The Emperor shows a person who leads with authority externally, while privately crumbling beneath their own tenderness. Vulnerability terrifies them more than any obstacle they conquered, because opening means risking complete devastation. Their pride convinced them strength meant never bending, and that belief governed every connection before this one. What happened recently shattered that entire philosophy, and the Emperor now stands in a posture of surrender. This person is learning that real power lives in allowing themselves to feel without controlling every outcome. The armor they wore for protection now prevents them from receiving the very thing they actually want. The Six of Swords arrives next, confirming that this person has been transitioning quietly away from old pain. A previous chapter left invisible marks they carried silently, and those scars shaped every guarded decision since. The Six of Swords confirms they are leaving behind the self that always fled from genuine emotional depth. This departure was not sudden or dramatic at all. It happened through quiet internal reckonings at midnight. They stopped resisting the current pulling them forward, and finally let the water carry them somewhere brand new. What they abandoned includes every belief that told them they were never constructed for lasting emotional connection. The old narrative keeping them isolated is dissolving fast, and this card marks that precise turning point beautifully. Then we see the Knight of Cups, and this card reveals romantic energy building intensely inside their chest. The Knight of Cups shows a heart preparing to move toward love, with intention they never carried previously. This is not reckless infatuation or emotional impulse. This is deliberate movement born from deep internal certainty. They rehearse conversations inside their mind constantly, searching for language worthy of what they actually feel. Every attempt falls short because the emotions are too vast, and words keep collapsing under the sheer weight. A message lives inside them that their mouth has not delivered, but their spirit already transmitted it completely. The ache of holding those unspoken words grows heavier daily, and the pressure builds toward inevitable release. Their love is not something they stumbled into accidentally. It is something they chose after evaluating every risk. The Page of Wands appears last, introducing a spark of courage that recently ignited deep inside them. The Page of Wands represents fresh willingness to take emotional leaps, without demanding any guarantees first. Fear still exists within them, but it no longer commands decisions, and that internal breakthrough changed everything. This person gathers bravery in small, private doses, preparing themselves for a declaration that feels truly monumental. The excitement building inside their chest feels almost dangerous, because it carries potential to transform everything. Their inner world is a landscape of conflicting signals, where desire and fear dance together without resolution. What remains constant through all of that internal noise is one undeniable truth: they cannot walk away anymore. Their feet tried moving in the opposite direction, but their heart dragged them right back every time. They tried to contain these feelings and failed beautifully, because love this enormous refuses to be controlled. The cards captured this person standing at the edge of honesty, prepared to step into full emotional exposure. Their transformation happened not in spite of their fear, but directly because love was allowed to outweigh it. The pace of this reading shifted dramatically just now, and I feel momentum surging through every card. Energy that was sitting completely still is finally moving, and the acceleration points directly toward action. This person moved past the contemplation stage entirely, and their feet are already positioned to step forward. Decisions that lingered in silence for weeks are crystallizing, and the hesitation holding them back just evaporated. A spark ignited underneath their resolve very recently, and nothing can pull them backward from this trajectory. They crossed a threshold internally that cannot be uncrossed, and the commitment behind their choice is absolute. The first card is the Chariot, and it carries the most powerful forward motion in this entire spread. The Chariot arrives only when real movement is already underway, not for wishful thinking or passive energy. This person grabbed the reins of their situation firmly, and they are no longer waiting for outside permission. A decision was made that surprised even them, and it carries the full weight of total, unwavering commitment. The direction they chose is not random or impulsive. It was calculated with the precision of deep certainty. The chariot confirms they already mapped the route forward, and every possible obstacle was carefully accounted for. Their willpower reached a level that cannot be reasoned with, and it fuels every planned move from here. Nothing external will slow this trajectory down anymore, because the engine driving them runs on pure determination. They are moving forward with clarity that leaves zero ambiguity, and the timing of it feels almost aggressive. Every distraction that pulled their attention sideways before has been eliminated, so single focus could take over. The chariot represents a person who decided firmly and then immediately began executing without looking back once. Following that, we have the Eight of Wands, and it confirms that visible acceleration is arriving extremely soon. The Eight of Wands brings speed to everything it touches, and messages will arrive without any further delay. Communication that was stalled is about to break through, and the contact will feel sudden and deeply intentional. This person prepares to reach out in a manner that eliminates all remaining guesswork between both sides. The approach will not arrive subtly or quietly. It will land with undeniable clarity and deliberate purpose. Whatever form their contact takes will carry urgency, and the timing will feel almost divinely orchestrated here. Expect shifts in conversations or physical plans very soon, because the Eight of Wands compresses every timeline. Delays that frustrated both sides are collapsing simultaneously, and the path forward clears at remarkable speed. The directness of their movement may catch you off guard, because nothing about it will allow misinterpretation. Speed is the signature of this entire section, and every card confirms that stagnation has officially ended here. Then we see the Three of Pentacles, and this card turns the focus toward building something tangible together. The Three of Pentacles indicates real practical steps being planned, not abstract promises or vague conversations. This person thinks practically about merging lives in concrete ways, and their planning involves specific details. Discussions about shared commitments or logistics will surface soon, and groundwork for partnership is already being laid. The Three of Pentacles appears only for serious builders, not for people who dream without ever taking action. Foundations are being assembled quietly in the background, and the craftsmanship behind their intentions is deliberate. They are constructing something with you in mind specifically, and every detail reflects how seriously they take this. They want something permanent and structurally sound, not a temporary arrangement that slowly fades over time. Every move they prepare has been rehearsed internally, and the execution will reflect genuinely thoughtful preparation. These three cards together reveal a window of rapid, decisive action opening within your near future. This person finished with debating and overanalyzing completely, and the phase of visible physical movement has begun. Their next action carries the signature of finality, and it arrives with the certainty of a closed decision. The shift you sensed approaching is not imagination. It is the vibration of their arrival growing louder daily. The cards dropped into a layer that most readings never reach, and what surfaces here is deeply hidden. This is where masks dissolve completely, and what remains underneath is raw, unfiltered, emotional confession. If your chest tightens while hearing this section, that physical reaction confirms the truth is resonating. Your body recognizes honesty before your mind catches up, and that sensation is never accidental or random. What this person hides from the world is not darkness. It is tenderness so extreme it terrifies them. They built an entire persona around appearing unbothered, and behind that performance lives a different truth. The first card revealing their confession is the Star, and what it uncovers genuinely took my breath away. The Star represents naked vulnerability without defense, and this person already reached that place deep inside. They stripped away every layer of protection privately, and what remains is pure, desperate longing for you. Late at night, when nobody watches them, they allow themselves to imagine life without separation between you. The Star confirms their deepest unspoken wish involves complete emotional transparency with you and only you. They want to stand before you without armor or pretense and let every imperfection finally be witnessed. That desire scares them more than any external threat because it demands absolute surrender of all control. They rehearse confessions in the darkness of their room, but morning arrives and the words retreat again. What they want to say would rearrange every dynamic, and the stakes of speaking feel impossibly enormous. The Star holds the image of a person kneeling before vulnerability, refusing to look away from it anymore. Their secret ache is a living thing inside their chest, and it grows heavier with every silent day. The weight of unspoken words pressed against their ribs creates a pressure that only your presence could relieve. Every confession they swallowed left a mark inside, and those marks form a map leading straight to you. The Ten of Cups arrives next, and it reveals the private dream this person protects most fiercely. This person does not want casual connection with you. They envision a complete, fully shared life together. The Ten of Cups represents ultimate emotional fulfillment, and it lives inside their imagination as private sanctuary. They picture mornings together in quiet kitchens and conversations that stretch past midnight without any rush. Ordinary domestic moments hold more power in their fantasy than any grand romantic gesture ever manufactured. What they secretly crave is the stillness of being home, knowing that home exists wherever you are. The Ten of Cups confirms their hidden desire is not infatuation. It is permanent, unwavering, emotional belonging. They imagine holidays with your laugh filling their table, and difficult seasons where your hand stays near. Nobody else knows the depth of this private vision, because speaking it aloud would leave them completely exposed. They visit this dream only when solitude grants permission, carrying it in locked chambers of their consciousness. Our final card is the High Priestess, revealing a knowing inside them that operates beneath all logic entirely. The High Priestess confirms a silent certainty about you that defies every rational argument they attempted. Their intuition told them long ago this was different, and every effort to disprove that recognition failed. The High Priestess holds secrets that even conscious thought refuses to access, and this person carries many. They understand in their bones that leaving is impossible, even when fear begs them to consider walking away. What lives beneath their silence is not confusion. It is an overwhelming flood of unspeakable private devotion. If your hands tremble or your eyes blur now, that is your spirit confirming every single word. You are not imagining any of this connection, and you were never wrong for trusting your deepest intuition. The confessions buried inside this person could fill an ocean, and the cards only captured a small fraction. Every hidden word they swallow has your name inscribed within, and nothing will erase that permanent, sacred imprint. Their silence was never indifference or rejection. It was love too enormous for any mouth to hold. What they confess to the darkness belongs to you, and soon that truth will demand to be spoken. We reach the final stretch of this reading now, and the weight of everything builds toward this closure. Cards that arrived before this part built a foundation, and now the future reveals itself with total clarity. The sun appears as your near future card, and it radiates the most joyful energy in this spread. Warmth and clarity head directly toward this connection, and the sun confirms no further obstacles stand remaining. Light floods every corner that once caused doubt, and the season shifting your way glows beautifully and bright. The sun brings full visibility to what was hidden, and the truth between you two becomes completely undeniable. Expect confusion to lift dramatically very soon, and certainty will settle into a place that feels genuinely permanent. Joy that once felt unreachable is approaching fast, and the sun promises it arrives with deeply lasting warmth. Temperance arrives as your advice card here, and it carries the most critical guidance this reading offers you. Temperance asks you to trust the divine timing at work, even when your patience feels completely worn thin. Balance is the central instruction for you now, and forcing outcomes before their moment creates unnecessary friction. Everything aligning between you follows a sacred rhythm, and temperance reminds you to honor that pace faithfully. The guidance is not passive waiting without hope. It is holding steady while final pieces fall into place. Your role right now is receptivity and trust, and the universe handles the remaining orchestration from here quietly. The world arrives last and seals this entire reading with the energy of completion and beautiful earned wholeness. This card does not appear for unfinished stories. It shows up when destiny fulfills the original sacred promise. The world confirms that this connection was always meant to arrive at this exact point of eventual reunion. Let me bring the message back now, because it deserves to land one last time with complete weight. This person is deeply in love with you, and no words could ever describe what you mean. That message was confirmed through every card that appeared across all 6 parts of this sacred reading today. The lovers revealed soul recognition between you, and the King of Cups showed their deep, unwavering devotion here. The Two of Wands built a future around you, and the Ace of Cups poured unconditional love. Your Nine of Swords acknowledged those restless nights, and the moon validated every intuitive feeling you carried. The Four of Cups honored your protective walls, and the Queen of Swords reflected your fierce inner clarity. Their Emperor exposed hidden vulnerability beneath control, and the Six of Swords confirmed old pain being released. The Knight of Cups showed romantic intentions forming quietly, while the Page of Wands ignited brand new courage. Forward movement came through the Chariot powerfully, and the Eight of Wands accelerated every timeline toward contact. Partnership foundations emerged through the Three of Pentacles, and the Star uncovered raw, unguarded longing inside. The Ten of Cups revealed a secret dream of home, and the High Priestess confirmed silent knowing. Radiant joy was promised through the sun in your future, and Temperance guided you towards sacred patience. Completion arrived through the World as the final seal, and this reading closes with absolute divine confirmation. This is genuinely real, and it was validated fully through cards that never once contradicted each other today. Not a single card wavered or offered a conflicting message, and that level of unity is extraordinarily rare.